Hey guys, it's Dylan from Maximum Results Training, and today we are going to be going through the Body Transforming Nutrition System basics. All right, let's get straight into it. Quick overview of what we're going to be going through. So, basically, first of all, we're going to be going through what's wrong with diets. Then we're going to be getting into what is good nutrition. What do we do on the nutrition side of things? And creating some clarity around there, and also why balance and lifestyle are an important thing to take into account. Alcohol and H2O, and there's a few other things in there, but let's move straight on. So, what is wrong with dieting? So here's a statistic for you: 95% of diets fail in the first 2 years. What does this actually mean? Well, I mean, firstly, the reason why this happens is because people go on diets that aren't sustainable for a long term. Okay, so um, you think about diets where you're just cutting a lot of stuff out, which we're going to be getting into it in a tick. They basically don't fit into your lifestyle. So when you stop dieting, you get the results. You go, okay, well, I'll just go back to living how I used to because I actually enjoyed living like that, and I got to eat the foods I want. Um, but you couldn't have that sort of a lifestyle or when you're on your diet. So some common diets where this may be occurring is paleo diet. Basically cutting out everything that you couldn't eat when you were a caveman, which is pretty ridiculous because we sort of made the most progress in our lives when we were, I think, in the Neanderthal or nomadic era, where we started farming and stuff. But basically paleo, where you're cutting out everything that's processed or you couldn't eat when you're a caveman. This also sort of leads into clean eating, and the reason why we're not big fans of clean eating is because um, basically gives you the idea that you can get in good shape or lose body fat or get the results you want simply by eating healthy, and it's not as simple as that. So there's more to it. Besides that, the zone diet's another one. Atkins, which is like the no carb diet, 5-2 diet, which is like you eat 2,000 calories some days, 500 on other days. Intermittent fasting, low fat diets, super low calorie diets, detoxes, and also like cleansers and juice cleansers. There are some good cleansers where you like don't drink and reduce refined foods, but they're all quick fixes. And the reason why they're quick fixes is because they all put you into a calorie or energy deficit by simply limiting certain food groups. Now, if you're someone who eats a lot of carbohydrates and you go on an Atkins diet, of course you're gonna lose weight. You're not eating what you used to make up the majority of your foods from. All right, now, yeah, quick fixes. So diets don't work, guys. Lifestyle does. This is something really important to understand because um, we could say, okay, let's go. We're going to put everyone on the Atkins diet. Look at the results you get over the next 6 weeks. I don't care how shit you feel and that you don't actually have a lifestyle. You'll still get good results over this period of time, but you're not going to keep them. And that's an important thing to understand. So why do these diets fail? So we sort of went into it, and it's all about lifestyle and trying to fit it in. Now, if you're a avid paleo eater, and you literally cannot eat anything processed. Let's say, like you go to a friend's place and they made pasta. Let's put it that way. I love pasta. I don't know who doesn't love it. Yes, it's carb dense. Obviously, there's certain ways you have to fit it in, but you would have to say that no, I can't eat that. I'm a strict paleo eater. I can't eat that pasta. So you know, it's all about lifestyle and finding things that do fit into your lifestyle, so you can eat the foods you want, still have a social life, and still get the results you want. As I just said, so metabolic damage is another reason why they don't work. Now, if you go into an extreme calorie or energy deficit for an extended period of time, you alter what's called your metabolic set point. So everybody has a set point as to the amount of food they can eat and stay the exact same weight. So that might be, for instance, for a male who's around 100 kilos, 3,000 calories, which is quite a lot. Okay, let's say that's the metabolic set point. Let's say that individual then goes on a diet where they're eating 1,500 calories for, say, 3 to 6 months. They might lose a lot of weight initially, for a few months even, but after a while, yes, they'll feel like absolute crap. After a while, their body will get used to eating that amount of food, and their results will slow to a point where they'll actually stop. So you'll stop losing weight. Okay, now you could imagine if someone who has 30, 40 kilos to lose, or even if you have 10 kilos to lose, and you get to a point where you're absolutely giving it everything you've got and you stop getting the results, like, where do you go from there? Like, can you imagine someone that's already halved the amount of food they're eating? Like, the next step would be to lower it further. Now that's like pretty unrealistic, and your body needs to, your body basically won't be able to handle that and still maintain the bodily functions, and still maintain a high level of health. So this is an important thing to understand. So continual overshooting, so that's what you call where you go into a big energy deficit, or crash dieting leads to increased fat regain. So once you stop dieting, once you get out of that energy deficit, your body won't just put the weight back on, it'll in fact put more weight on. So, and that won't be, so when you lose body fat, generally speaking, your fat cells, you don't lose fat cells, they decrease in size. Now this happens whenever anyone loses body fat, the fat cells decrease in size. Now when you put fat on, they increase in size. Now when you do some continual overshooting, like crash dieting, rebound, crash dieting, rebound, your body actually increases the amount of fat cells it has, so you can now put on more weight. Your set point for body fat storage has increased. So that'll lead to increased fat regain, if that makes sense. I hope it does. So what is good nutrition, guys? So, I mean, we've sort of gone over already, why diets suck, and why they're only a good short-term fix. So I'm guessing for some of you, that's what you sort of thought good nutrition was. So what is actually good nutrition? So good nutrition allows you to form your nutritional habits into a lifestyle. That's what good nutrition needs to start with. It's honest, and it needs to be outcome based, and it has to aid in your health and fitness goals as well. So, I can tell you to go and eat the right foods and have a really good lifestyle around nutrition, but at the end of the day, you want to get some results. So you might need to actually change your lifestyle to not only fit your good nutrition in, but also to suit your results. Okay. And it also still leaves you with enough energy to do everyday activities. So if you're on a crash diet, or if you've done some sort of intermittent fasting before, you'll understand that, like, you get to a point where you're so hungry that you can't actually do everyday activities without yelling at someone. You get hangry, I think it's called, hungry and angry. It gives you enough balance to go out and have a social life, and it gets you results. All right, guys, that's good nutrition. So what do we do? So on the nutrition side of things, we set your nutrition up to account for you as an individual and your desired outcome using the key determinant in body composition changes, that is energy balance. So we alter your energy balance accordingly. So what does this actually mean? It means that we treat everyone like an individual. Everyone has a different body. Everyone has a different goal. And we alter the key determinant that is the most important factor for changing your body energy balance. So if you want to lose weight, or you want to lose some body fat, we'll put you in a calculated energy deficit for you as an individual. So everyone's different, remember. If you want to put on weight, or you want to add some lean muscle, guys and girls included, we put you in a calculated energy surplus. It's pretty simple, right? Now, if you want to stay the same, or you just enjoy your training and you want to work towards being fitter, healthier, and more energetic, then we just put you in a calculated energy balance. So like I went before, how everyone had, like, for that 100 kilo person, let's say you've got a 60 kilo female, that wants to just enjoy their training. They're not too worried about changing their body composition. They just want to enjoy their training, feel fit, have some fun, get strong, and train their butt off. Well, then we're just going to keep them in a calculated energy balance. Okay, so once we have your goal, as we sort of went through here, so calculated energy deficit, or if you want to put on weight, we've got you in a surplus, then what do we do? So once we figure out your energy intake, we calculate your daily macronutrient requirements. So macronutrients are just a fancy name, or it's just the name given to the group of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. So these are the three macronutrients. Alcohol is also a macronutrient, which we've got to get into a little bit later into this. So, and there's also all the nutrition, all the information on each macronutrient is in their individual videos below this video. So this is the key to successful nutrition, no matter what your goal is. So we figure out your goal. We calculate your if you want to lose fat, exactly how much energy for you to eat. Then we find out your exact macronutrient spread and teach you how to track it. And this is the key to successful nutrition, guys, no matter what your goal is. So we need a certain amount of each macronutrient for optimal health, metabolic function, recovery, and energy levels. And I like to think of it as tracking your finances. Now, if you don't track where your money is going, you're going to go broke. Now, if you're not tracking what you're doing on the nutrition side of things, guess what? You're not going to get the results you want. All right? It's exactly the same thing, guys. Without tracking your macros, you are limiting your chances of success, and simply you're just relying on guesswork. Now, yeah, as I said before, there's a video on each macronutrient below. It's a lot shorter than this video, but it sort of just outlines the basics of each macronutrient, the role they have in the body, and why it's important to, basically, what role they play. You aren't perfect, guys. I think this is important to understand. So don't have an all or nothing approach to nutrition, because you aren't perfect. So don't aim for perfection. Like, I'm not saying that you can't be 100% on all the time, but it's good to be, when it comes to nutrition, aim for about 90% of an adherence level. So what does that actually mean? That means, like, so we're going to be setting your macros below. We're going to be teaching you how to track them. But don't be afraid to go out and have a meal with friends and not worry about getting out your MyFitnessPal and tracking exactly what you ate. And don't think that if you go out with friends for a meal that your whole week is stuffed, because you're not 100% on track. All right, that's why we say this. It's not to try and pull anyone back into line. It's more just to say, it's more just being realistic. And everyone's going to have times where they want to go out with their friends, or they want to go out for a meal with their partner, and so on. So having this 90% is good. It's still going to get you results, still going to allow you to have a lifestyle. So as I just said, this way you can have a few meals where you aren't tracking your macros. It's just important not to turn this into a binge meal. So you go out for dinner, it's okay to have a little bit of dessert. Just don't go to Ben & Jerry's and have a liter of ice cream afterwards. So immediately after your off-the-plan meal, jump straight back on and start tracking your macros again. So 80% whole foods. So why do we sort of suggest 80% whole foods instead of 100% whole foods? And it's just got to do with balance and lifestyle. So eating 80% whole foods will allow you to then eat foods that aren't necessarily seen as healthy. And you have the option to add in foods to fit your lifestyle, or to fit them as you feel like them. So like I sort of said before, in the previous one, the 90% rule, where it allows you 10% of the time during the week, might be 3 or 4 meals during the week to go out. As long as it's in moderation, you're eating the foods you want. The same thing, like, don't think that because you're not eating something healthy, or you're eating something that's considered for some reason unhealthy, that you can't eat it, or that it's going to wreck your diet completely, or your nutrition for that week completely. It's important to understand that as long as you're eating 80% on the plan, it'll give you the balance to then enjoy some foods that you want. So for instance, you may feel like an ice cream. I'm just using this the ice cream as an example. A few nights in a week. So what you can actually do is, if you have 20 grams of carbohydrates left at the end of the day, something that's always good to fit into your macronutrient allowance is something like a Skinny Cow ice cream. So this is an ice cream that's just basically it's just got carbohydrates in it. It's really low in fat, really low in protein. But that way you can still get something sweet. Yes, it's a little bit processed, but guess what? It's all about fitting in the foods you want. Just remember, diets don't work, lifestyle does, so make sure you can fit something into your lifestyle for it to actually work. So there's this is below as well underneath each macronutrient, but it's giving you an understanding of this is whole foods. This is what whole foods look like. So sweet potato, like all potatoes, rices, quinoa, couscous, oats, fruits, vegetables, they're all great whole food sources of carbohydrates. Your protein sources are there, your fat sources are there. This is what will make up 80% of your nutrition, guys. All right? Alcohol. So how does alcohol affect our results? So, I mean, we are all about lifestyle changes, but still allowing your nutrition to fit into your lifestyle. So, I mean, if you were drinking 30 plus drinks a week, chances are you're going to have to change your lifestyle a bit. I mean, for some people, alcohol does play a big role in their life, but it's important to understand that it will negatively affect your results. Alcohol works like almost like a poison in the body, in the fact that it will be burnt before any other nutrient or macronutrient is burnt. So meaning that, okay, for instance, if you have 2 drinks, your body is working as hard as it can to process those 2 drinks before it will process anything else you put into your mouth. So let's say, for instance, you have 2 beers and then you're at the pub and you have a steak and chips. Chances of what's actually going to happen is your body's going to be working so hard to process that alcohol that everything else is going to be stored, and generally be stored as body fat. So, like I said, we're not telling you to not drink ever. I probably have 1 drink a week, maybe a few more. I'm more of a wine drinker personally, but moderation is key, as always, to your results. All right. So water. So the importance of consuming adequate amounts of water is so overlooked. I mean, especially during colder months or even in summer months where you're sweating, you don't actually realize how much water you lose just by living every day. Every time you breathe out, you are like you're losing, you're dehydrating yourself essentially. Um, you're sweating even though you don't think you are. So it's important to replace water constantly. Okay. H2O is the body's primary chemical component, and water makes up about 60% plus of your body weight. So it's a lot of, our body is made up a lot of water basically. And adequate water is vital for optimal health, performance, and overall results. Even slight dehydration or mild dehydration can massively affect your energy levels, your ability to exercise, performance levels. Like some days, guys, you might come into train and be like, "Fuck, I just feel like so weak today," or "I'm just so out of it today." Chances are you're dehydrated, even though it's just mildly dehydrated, and that will massively affect your performance. All right. It's also really important to understand that when we lose body fat, when we're trying to lose weight, like body fat is extremely toxic and it will release a lot of toxins into our body. Um, and if you're not drinking enough water, those toxins can float around, make you feel like crap, and affect your body in all sorts of ways. Water will help flush out toxins, so it's important to keep an adequate water intake. So how much water? So for ladies, generally about 2.5 liters per day is a minimum. For men, 3 liters as a minimum. All right. So now some key points on nutrition. So hit your macros every day. So we're going to get into them in a lot more depth below, but just understand that you've got to hit those macros, 5 to 10 grams of everything. Trust in the process. It's probably different to what most people do because we don't preach diets, we preach lifestyle. Complete the daily and weekly accountability tasks to allow us to keep you on track. These are so important, guys. We really need to keep you on track and make sure you're doing the right things and help you where you need to be helped. Ask as many questions as possible. These are the sort of expected results you can get if you're following everything to a T. Remember, results aren't linear, but this is a good gauge of what can happen. That's it, guys. So complete the tasks below. There's 3 tasks directly below this, and answer them into the Facebook group. If you have any questions on this video, get in contact with one of the trainers or post them in the Facebook group as well.